Cyclone Dikeledi makes landfall in Mozambique. Well, this storm intensified a fair bit up until its landfall here, which it has now executed just south of Nampula on the eastern part of Mozambique. A Category 2 storm here with winds near 100 miles per hour. It's at 15.3 south, around 40.5 degrees east, as of 5 p.m. Central African time this January 13th. Well, that's 160 km per hour sustained winds estimated at landfall there. Still moving west-southwesterly at 8 miles per hour or 13 kilometers per hour, which means that it is going to move at least a little bit inland, and that may have implications further down the line. As of right now though, here it is at its landfall position, with its wind field extending out up to around 135 nautical miles on its southeastern quadrant, the most expansive, and obviously strong winds in all quadrants there. It is just 8 kilometers at this time from Motomonho, 33 from Moginkwal, 122 from Angoche to the south, 477 from Quelimane, way southwest, and 687 from Morondava on the western coast of Madagascar. The storm is expected to swing southwards and then southeastwards and could go on to affect the southwestern territories of Madagascar on its way out of the area as it turns and recurves. Well, right now we're still mainly concerned about flash flooding. Obviously there will be strong winds in a concentrated area near the centre of the storm, although it is largely rural. But rainfall is going to be over a larger area, and that's what we're more concerned about, particularly in Nampula province in Mozambique. Rainfall will also cause flooding issues in Sofala province, not directly associated with the storm, and uncertain wind impacts in southwestern Madagascar means that we're most concerned about rainfall there as well, with up to 250 millimeters possible. Well, here's our latest track expectation over the next few days. There it is, with those storm force winds just grazing the coast of Madagascar, but this still is a very uncertain forecast, both in track and intensity. Obviously, if the storm remains strong, it could get much stronger as it moves through the Mozambique Channel, but that means that would really rely on very little land interaction. Obviously, now it's made landfall, it could end up being weaker than expected, but let's just hold on to that thought because, you know, these storms can do unpredictable things. So here we are at 100 miles per hour. That is what the JTWC went with in their update as well. Meteo France, they've dropped their numbers too, and in fact they've dropped their initial forecast, I should say, but still expect further strengthening later on down the line. And here is that forecast cone. You can see there they have gradual weakening at first, and then as the storm moves back over water again, strengthening and then getting even stronger than what it has been once it passes to the southwest of Madagascar. The cone is quite close to the coast there, but their forecast solution is pretty much in line with that GFS model, suggesting that it may miss. We'll take a look at that model in a second. This is the warnings that we've put out right now. Hurricane conditions likely in those red areas from Matibane to Nagonha, and those yellow areas for tropical storm force winds possible in the next 72 hours. And these are the wind speed probabilities, so around about half chance there for southwestern Madagascar to get storm force winds, that's 65 kilometers per hour sustained or higher. And this is the GFS model run over the next 7 days. And that wind field really blows up on that eastern side, which means that a lot of the coastal area there, even from Morondava southwards in Madagascar, looks like it might get tropical storm force winds according to that model. It then continues out towards the southeast, stalls a little bit, and turns post-tropical, obviously way down there. It's looking less likely now that the storm will get caught up in the Mozambique Channel and have a very odd track and move around a lot more and possibly affect Mozambique. It looks like that is not going to be the situation now. It's going to be a more straightforward southeasterly movement. Now watch the rain patterns here, especially in eastern Mozambique. You'll see a little bit later on after the storm passes some really heavy rainfall after the storm moves through, which is what we're concerned about for the Beira region towards the later part of the week. Now watch again as we take a look at the storm itself. There it is, northern western side having the most rainfall, and a big band along its southern side there throwing some rainfall into Madagascar before the storm itself gets there. And then it's along that western coast of Madagascar that we're looking at the highest rainfall amounts on that island, and some more little storms following in after that as well when the storm leaves the area. So these are the 7-day rainfall totals, and not all of this is associated with Dikeledi itself. You see that initial part is, and then you see another track of red moving up over the Beira area. That's from that system behind it. Well, not really a system, just some thunderstorms really, but looking at the whole region, 7-day rainfall totals getting up and above 250 millimeters from the Nampula province region of Mozambique, and then in Sofala getting up towards 15 inches there, which is nearly 400 millimeters. For parts of Madagascar getting up to 2 or maybe 300 millimeters of rainfall there as well, even in central parts there getting up towards 250 millimeters. Well, certainly a lot of energy from very high sea surface temperatures, which are, these numbers will read a little bit low once again. They'll be at least 30 degrees Celsius in a few spots. It's warmer further east along the western coast of Madagascar than it is off the eastern coast of Mozambique, but only 1 or 2 degrees in it. And take a look at some of those land temperatures, still really boiling hot. Southeastern tip of Madagascar right now, currently at 40 degrees Celsius. So very warm conditions, and certainly warm seas, which will help this storm, certainly with its rainfall expectations, if not its wind as well. Of course, we weren't fully expecting this storm to strengthen as it did do, but it was always on the possibility list. But it has strengthened to Category 2 status briefly, 100-mile-an-hour winds, pressure estimate 975 millibars as we watched that eye just open up as it made landfall there. And now it's relatively slow southwesterly movement. I'm starting to wonder whether it's actually just stalled there along the coast, and whether it might have a much more pronounced turn towards the south shortly. But basically, if it goes further inland, that will obviously reduce the chances that the storm will have to intensify again later. But if it does just hold on along the coast there, stalling a little bit, then starts to turn straight south, then the storm will have a much better chance really of having some stronger winds later on down the line, and probably will nudge that track forecast a little bit further east, further implicating western Madagascar. Cloud top still looking good, certainly a lot of rainfall around that area. You can clearly see it's degraded though as the storm has moved inland just that little bit, but rainfall spewing all over the northern part of Mozambique and probably getting into Malawi now as well. You can take a look at all this satellite imagery live on the Force 13 website and on our live tracker on the Force 13 YouTube channel. Take a look at those for the latest updates on Dikeledi, and we'll have further updates as the storm moves back over water in the next 12 hours.